Hey, Digi. Morning. Anna? Whoa, go get it. I heard a pheasant. Go get it. So this is it. I hope that this is the day. We've only got about 65 acres of soybeans left. The reason we quit last night with that amount left is because I ran out of seed. So we had to run way back to the yard here. We're down about 6-7 miles south of us here, some of our farther away fields. People are asking a lot, why is it going so much faster this year? Is it because of the equipment? That does help, but the planter we've got is only 40 feet wide versus a 60-foot wide planter that we own that we've run the last several years. So it really isn't that much quicker. The main difference is the weather. It's just been so much drier. Anna found a squirrel. We are way ahead of last year at this point, and actually we're way ahead of average, like way ahead. It's been a fantastic spring. But the only thing we really would want to have changed is it would be nice if we could get a little bit more heat. It's actually freezing out right now. The radar shows that it's technically snowing here, but it's not. But there is rain coming, and it is about 30 degrees out right now. And I'm gonna go look at the corn before I hop in the planter and explain to you guys what that may or may not do to the corn. Okay, a quick rundown here on the corn. You can see this corn is up about an inch tall right down the row. Also of note, just interesting thing to look at is where the corn is here versus up on this hill that's slightly eroded. There's nothing emerging through here yet because it doesn't get as warm when the sun shines on it. So this stuff is growing right here. This was our first field planted. We don't have anything bigger than this because we've actually had quite a bit of cold. It's been dry, it's been a great spring, but it's been a little bit colder than normal. So what could potentially happen here is the top of this plant may freeze off. Typically it's gonna freeze off right at the ground. It's really not gonna get below ground unless it would get really cold. But the growing point in these plants is still well below the soil. So what'll happen is the top of this plant may freeze off, and it's just gonna set it back a couple of days. This plant will continue to grow from the center out and continue to grow up. So it sets it back, but it's not gonna completely kill this plant or all these plants. It's just gonna set them back because the growing point is still way down here, at least on corn. Sorry I disturbed you. This is something that is actually relatively a common thing around here. It happens more often than we want it to, that the corn is an inch, 2 inches tall and it freezes off, and it doesn't seem to affect too much. Soybeans, on the other hand, are totally different because they grow up through the soil. The growing point is above the ground. A lot of times when they freeze off, there's big problems, but they are waxier, they're a little bit harder to freeze, but you don't want your soybeans to freeze. Luckily, we really haven't had enough heat since we started planting our beans to get them to grow above the soil, so they're gonna be fine for several days yet. Ultimately, we're really not that worried about it. What worries me more is the rain coming back there, which means I gotta get back in the truck and get to the planter because we've only got 65 acres left. 40 of it is down over there on the other side of a ditch that runs through there, and the rest of it is right here in this field. I got this field about half planted last night. Let's get to it. Jim's already back there running the roller. What a guy. Doesn't look like he's stuck yet. Jim, I'm just kidding. You know we all get stuck. There's been a lot of confusion online on my other social channels about how exactly does the snap work. Well, you have to get a subscription unlock for it, and you have to use the correct hand. For some people, it's the left hand, for some people it's the right. But basically, you just hold your hand up, okay, watch closely, and see, it's not that difficult, guys. Well, now that I've planted about 1/10 of 1 acre, we've got rain and snow falling. These are not good conditions. This field was always a little bit wet. We threw some drain tile in here. This is our last 40 acres, but it got tilled about 6 hours ago, obviously, when it was dark out. And it's sticky. It's not good when it's picking up on the planter tires, but it is closing the furrows. And beans are not as critical as corn. Oh, this is ugly. My plan was just to finish the end rows and finish the trip, get around back to the corner here and phone call. As I was saying, I planned on quitting when I got back to the road, but then the second half around the end rows seemed like it was dry. So here I am, I'm still moving. If we weren't on our final few acres here, this wouldn't be so questionable. We would just pull the plug and try it again when it gets drier, but you want to finish before the rain, you know? Now I gotta run back and get seed, which I knew was gonna happen. We're getting down there on seed because we're getting down there on acres. So we're trying to get rid of all the seed we have, which is gonna happen, but we're switching varieties. So I didn't want to load up until this stuff was gone, which now it is. Auto dispense. And flow. All right, it's gonna close the door down, read out a little bit, and then the door opens back up. See where we end up here. Oh, 6 pounds too many. Now by my math, that's just a hair over 1% off. I don't know what your standards are when it comes to hundreds of pounds of seed, but I can't live like this. All right, let's see how it does on this one. Or will we run out of seed first? Which one will it be? Oh, we're running out of seed down there. I ran out of seed. 8 pounds early. I'll get by, I guess. One more time, here we go. See, it isn't that tough. Even the Leonard Skinner keeps rocking. I have to admit, I take back everything I've ever said about row cleaners. Once I got these babies dialed in, I'm loving them. Once I got all the nuances figured out, and I figured out where I want to set these things and change them for different field conditions, I love them. They really do a beautiful job. Baby shark doo. Now, we've got our final 20 acres left, and things have actually cleared up just a little bit here, so I'm feeling a little more optimistic about this. Conditions aren't perfect, but the field we're going to in this last 20 acres is pretty dry. But the thing is, most of it is a test plot. Yes, it's super annoying right now when we're trying to hurry and get done before this rain. But this test plot is a county plot for our local county corn and soybean growers association, and the companies pay money to be involved in this plot, and it raises money for high school students that are going into an ag-related field. So we give them scholarships through the county organization, and this is how we earn our money. And so yeah, it's not a convenient thing to stop and do right now, because we could just finish up that final 20 acres, but it's something that's good for agriculture. It's something I said I would do, and so I'm gonna head home, pick up Jim. We're gonna grab that plot seed, and we're gonna plant that test plot. Go ahead, Seven.
You're on the way.
Yeah, it took me a few minutes longer than I expected, but I just pulled out of the field with an empty tender, so I'll be back in about 10. 10 feet. Final seed right here. This will be what we need to get us through the last few acres. Use it as a tester in the test plot. We're getting right down there. Driving a skid steer one-handed is not real easy. All right, now I think all we should need is our plot seed. All right, let's roll us some time-lapse footage of a test plot, because you guys have been through this 100 times before. Here we go. Not. That isn't gonna work. With this planter and these tiny hoppers, we can only go about 300, 350 feet before we run out of seed. We're not getting a fair test at that. And we don't have extensions for these hoppers. Not gonna work out. This plot isn't gonna work, so we're gonna have to find a different volunteer to handle this plot this year. We've done this for 25 years, but this time with this planter, just because of the design, it is not going to work, so I'm gonna try not to hit our pickup there. We're gonna set everything back to normal. Just didn't get a workout, unfortunately. How in the heck? How does this kick up off the field and end up on there. You'd never ever be able to do that if you tried. Pre-emerging. This is a good teaching moment to explain to you guys why we're spraying nothing. Because we put that pre-emerge herbicide down, it sits on top of the ground until it gets rained in, and then it activates, and it has a long residual to keep the weeds from coming in. So it helps slow down the time between now and when we need to spray our post-emerge. I am down to 1/2 of one short round left, which by my calculations should be around 1 acre, and I'm out of seed. But that's the way the end of planting always goes, because we're trying not to carry any seed over, or as little as we possibly can. So I'm headed back to the truck, which is just down the end rows here, to grab 2 bags, maybe 3, just because I want to be extra safe and not run out again. I can set them on the stool over there. I'm doing a lot of talking today, and this is a super slow morning so far. I did not get close enough to the truck, but I'll deal with it. 53-pound bags, that's heavy bean seed. Might not even need the bag, I just transferred from one tub to the other. We'll see how that goes. Well, that's it. We're done with planting 2020. Pretty exciting. Didn't even need the extra bag, which means this thing has got to be empty, which is good. Does that mean, I don't want to think about it. Oh, I did. When are you headed to Alec? Okay, so maybe you want to swing by the Starbuck fields first on your way to Alec? You can just go ahead and fold it up then, and we'll get home around the same time, and then Becky can bring us back down. We'll grab a couple of pieces. Sounds good. All right, thanks, Jim. Jim's back, and there's a stalker down on the road there. We get them, stalkers, every once in a while. They stop at the end of the driveway or on the road down there. They're trying to get pictures of Jim. Did you get that one done too?
That one's done.
Rolling's all done.
Boy.
Hound dogs.
Man, look.
There they are, Jim.
Huh?
The stalker.
Who's that?
I don't know. Came from the south road. Now they're here. Taking pictures.
In the mail now.
Uh-oh.
Assessors aren't coming to look at the place. You
Jim.
gotta fill out this 2-page.
Well, they're coming now. I hope it's not an assessor. Did you see the random one?
Yeah.
Just left the driveway. Hey, girls.
Hi.
Hi. Hi, Isla. Are you getting it? Almost. Come on, you can get it. She's gonna take Jim to his car while I grab the dually to get those seed bags out of here because it's starting to sprinkle again. Just of note, this machine right here had problems yesterday. We think we've got a broken tooth somewhere in the transmission because in 8th and 10th, she makes a horrible sound. I'll grab old Thunder here because the weather's not nice or I'd go boating. It's not our boat. It's been there for quite a while. And I am curious about the story behind it because I've never seen a boat like that on the lakes here. Oh my God, the gnats. Thunder. Go gadget Millennial Jack. Quit playing with your dinghy. We got a full-on rain now. I'm trying to get there. Trying to keep those seed bags warm. Warm? They're warm. Just keep them dry. Dry's good enough. We never like to let our seed get cold on this here farm. We like to keep them warm all the time. It's good to have a warm bean bag. Coming in hot. Gotta get these babies under a roof. I hear the sprayer coming right behind me. I'm thinking it's lunchtime. There she is. Look at that. All done planting, all done rolling, all done spraying. He wants to go in the shed. That back end though, really didn't seem like I said that the way the kids do it. Done with everything?
That's everything.
Pre-emerge, rolling, planting.
I think I could have slept an extra 8 minutes this morning and still made it before the rain.
You could have. Well, at least we're done. I'll see you in October.
Sounds good.
Well, we're done just in time, so I gotta run go get some essentials for Mother's Day coming up here. I'll go get some of Becky's favorite things.